internet will be so good for us, so that we'll be able to cover many things. So now, to place your camera, you have one major option. Don't let me say two, because things have gone totally different from before. So you come to this panel, we call it command panel. On this command panel, so let's say somebody from you ask me a question and I say, okay, go to the command panel. What I mean by command panel is this panel, and on it you see something like a plus. It stands for create, and you see this little icon here. It is modify. Whatever you create here, you can modify here. Then we have hierarchy here. We have I've forgotten. I think motion. Then we have display. We have utilities. So now let's go back to the create. You can create many things. So one of the things you can create is camera, and you can see camera here. So now I pick camera, and under my camera I have list of cameras that I can create. I have standard camera, I have V-Ray camera, I have anode camera. So I'm going to choose V-Ray because I'm using V-Ray. Then I can choose V-Ray physical camera because that is actually the camera that actually works like a real life camera. So if you can use this camera well, it won't be hard much for you to create a real life photograph in real life to handle a camera. Now, one of the things for you to do is to choose where you want your camera to be located. Now, this over time is one of the skills that you can build. Now, why am I saying over time? Is because experiences gives you some kind of subconscious um, information about what is right and what is not right. For example, whenever I place my camera, I know something is wrong. Why? Because over time I know how an image is supposed to look like. Now it brings us, now I place a camera here and I'm facing the building like this. That doesn't mean that this is the best camera view. It's just a start. You get my image. I don't have any image that is covering. Okay, the modified camera, the image at the top, this does not cover anything that I'm doing. That's why I purposely place it here. So now I've placed the camera. This is the camera. So everything that I'm doing is here, is not on the command panel that I placed this particular image, and I don't have any other image showing here. So now when you have placed your camera, it is facing the building like this, and you can press C A B C D. Now C on your keyboard in this particular view, and it will show you your camera, where your camera is, the view, and this is the view. Now this is where it is important for everyone to note some things. You see, as a human being, there's a way your eye view images or objects around you. Where you are right now, if you look all around, there's a way you see things. And same way, you are trying to create an image that people will see. Those images that you are trying to create have a way, how do I want to put it now? It has a way of getting people to feel somehow as well. So what I'm going to say is that whenever you are placing your camera, be careful. Now this camera, you can see as I'm moving it, you can see the way it's moving all around. And if you check, the height of the camera is on 0 level. You can see it now. So if I press F here, you will see my camera is at 0 level. So by the time I begin to raise it up, you can see it's going. Now I can see the road clearly, but yet the camera target is facing down. So you wouldn't want that. You can see I can move it all around. So you can come to this view as well and drag the camera target up. You can just navigate through the views and get something that you think will be okay for you. Now I have this. It's not totally okay for me because the way I like to work is select my camera and work on the Z value here. So the Z value, which is Z value for some people will say I'm a local boy for saying Z, but whichever way, let's just use the one that we all can understand. So I mostly put it at 1200. I mostly put it at 1200. So I'm going to put it 1200 millimeters. You know, we are working millimeters now. Now, in some other tutorials here and there, they will tell you it's supposed to be 1750. That is human height between 1650 and 1750. They are right. It's just that this is what I use to start with, and it works most of the time. Sometimes I increase it, sometimes I reduce it. Now, if we check the image that I showed you the other time, let me check it again. So we will see that that particular image is not a landscape image. It's more or less like a portrait. You can see it is more or less like a portrait image. So this is what we want to achieve. And even though we have placed our camera, we have done all that, I'm going to show you something that will actually change many things that we have done. And that is what we call output size. Now, before I go on it, because we are using a limited version of Zoom subscription, it is a free one. So it is indicating to me that I have 8 minutes left. We don't have to bother about that. What happens is after 8 minutes, it's going to stop. Then you will use the link that you have again. I'll start the meeting again, and we are still going to use another 40 minutes with it. So hopefully by 1:30, 2 o'clock. Now it's supposed to be a 1 hour thing, but yet I want to deliberately explain a lot of things so that we will all gain a lot. So now we need to set output size because images differs. You can see the size of this one. If you right click on it and we choose file information, you will see that we have 1920 by 1080 as the dimension. If I choose the other one and I right click and I choose file information, you're going to see 1680 by 2100 is what we have. So there are different file size and all that, and it's very, very important for you to know how to set it. I'm going to explain how I set them to you now. So to set your view size, the first thing to do is to go to render setup. Now you need to know what you want to do. A lot of people don't always know what they want to do, and that is why they end up not knowing how to do it. For example, this particular view is not what I will do on a normal day, this particular size. Why? Because this building is more of horizontal than vertical. I only use this kind of frame for vertical, but the client sent me some images of how they want to actually advertise the buildings, because they want to sell them each unit. And I saw that, okay, if they want to sell them each unit, they want to write things at the top here. They will make some transparent stuff and write some things all like that for graphic designers. So it's better I create an image that is vertical than the one that is horizontal. So you need to have understanding of that, but mostly I use the design to determine the output size that I want. So now in this, I'll be using the output size, I'll be using custom, and we know that the height of that is 2100 by 1680. So we have it and it's okay, but despite that we have set it, we are not seeing the effect in this camera view at all. So what are we going to do? We can click on the view camera. You can see here, if you click on it, you will see something called show save frame, or you press shift F. You can see now when I show it, it's showing some border with some yellow, orange boundary. So if I press shift F, it will remove it. If I press shift plus F again, it will show it. So this is the first thing for me to do now. I'm having the clearance of where all my elements, my image, the foreground, the background, the midground, everywhere, and everything will be. So now I'm okay with that. Then I can come back to my camera. Let's say I have this as a reference. I want the camera to be somewhere around here and all that. It's always a matter of choice and what you understand about images. So I get closer to the building, but yet I couldn't capture everything unlike before. So but in this I was able to capture everything. So how did I do it? Don't forget that I'm still setting my height for now, my camera height for now at 1200 mm. So it brings me to a very fine topic of focal length. So focal length is on 40. So you can see I selected the camera and I come to modify tab, and from the modify tab I can see the video camera. If I did not select anything, I will not see anything. So please, when you are doing yours, always make sure that if you want property or property of any object you select, make sure that you select that object very well and you come to modify tab. So now if I increase the focal length to 55, you can see I get closer to the building. If I decrease it to 30, you can see even though I'm still maintaining same position, but yet I can zoom in. It's more or less like zooming in and zooming out. So I'm going to put it on 35. I think 35 is okay for me. Why? I'm seeing this side and I'm seeing this. I can try to adjust many things like this. I still feel like I should get closer a little bit like this. Now this is looking like the way I want it. So let me put it on 30 or maybe 25 for now. So I might need to adjust here and there. Now the reason I didn't put any figure on ground and just put that figure is because I want you to see that it doesn't always work like that. You will have to actually guess your way out of it sometimes, and there's nothing bad about that. So now I'm trying to adjust. I want to see more sky, and the moment I'm pushing my camera target up, the building is slanting, quite slanting, like it wants to fall. So what can you do to that? Because if you notice on this, every line is straight, nothing is slanting here. So what you can do is to just quickly select your camera and scroll down under the modify tab to tilt and shift and enable automatic vertical tilt. When you enable it, it will automatically align your vertical lines, and you can see everything is good and nice. Now I will get closer to the building a little bit, so I can use maybe 27mm lens or even maybe 28. The advantage that we have is we can zoom in the way we like on our virtual 3D camera, unlike in real life that we can't do that. So we have less than 1 minute to go. on this particular one, you can choose the link again. I will start the meeting again with the link. We are limited because we are using free Zoom subscription. So we have set our camera, we have set everything. There are many things that you will see online about composition and everything like that, but I don't want to bore you with that, and we don't have time with that yet. The major thing is for you to use your eyes to gauge everything and make sure that you get something that is nice and cool. So we are through with composition. The next thing we are going to be doing is lighting, but before we do it, I would like to hide the fence and all the things that are blocking our buildings. So that's the first thing I'm going to do when we are back. So I'm going to stop this one right now because time have gone. Recording as well. Yes, I'm going to hide it, of course. So we are all seeing it very well now, right? So what I'm saying is that we are going to unhide, sorry, we are going to hide everything that is obstacle, like this fence, this gate. Yes. I'm recording. So I'm selecting all the objects that I don't want to show in this view. So I'm selecting all the fences, the railings and all that. So you can see me. So the best is when you select some and you see that you can't go higher than that, you can just right click and choose hide selection. Again, right click, choose hide selection. You can see. So hide selection. So you can see now that what I have is not much again, and this particular fence as well, I might need to hide it from this view. You see, one of the major challenge that we have in this part of the world is that many architects will agree that clients will have a plot of land, but they want to build a skyscraper on it, and there's nothing you want to do about that. It is their money, it is their land, it is the job they gave you to do. So you just have to manage to find a way to represent what the design is all about to them, and that is why we are hiding the obstacles like this in you know abroad and all that. You will see those guys, they will just come up with rendering and you will not see fence, um you will not see anything, you will just see a vast land, big land and all that. We don't have that luxury here. So whatever we can do to showcase what we want to do is what we are going to do, you get. So let's move on. Now we have this and everything is cool and nice. I'm recording, of course, so it's going to be on YouTube. uh, what you will need to do is to let me just quickly put this one out there. um okay, so you can send me messages on WhatsApp, or let me just quickly show you the YouTube page so that I wouldn't even have to tell you to chat me up. So if you go on YouTube, you can search for Craft File Academy and you are going to see many videos there as well. So now we have this, we want to add elements, and what I was trying to say is that if you are using V-Ray 5.1 upwards, you might not really need to have to go on internet and be looking for components again. Why? Because the recent V-Ray have something called Chaos Cosmos. Chaos Cosmos, you can browse it. You can go to Chaos website, chaos.com, log in and find out about their products, you will see Cosmos there. And Cosmos is really, really what is changing the game for V-Ray right now. And I'm going to just click on this V-Ray toolbar here. Whenever you install V-Ray, of course, you will have your toolbar. There are many things that I might have on my own that you will not have because, well, majority of this is for Phoenix FD, for some simulations and all that. You don't need it except you want to do animation, so there's no need for you to bother about all those. But I'm going to click on Cosmos, and for the first time it's going to ask me because on my render setup I did not choose to render with V-Ray, so it knows that the render engine I wanted to use is not V-Ray and I cannot use V-Ray elements with it. So it's telling me to change in order to use toolbar options, V-Ray should be set as current renderer. Would you like to change current render to V-Ray? Yes. So we are going to be using V-Ray, of course. So now this is the Cosmos browser. You can see it is loading. Now, one major challenge with Cosmos browser right now is actually the fact that it uses internet. Now, there's nothing we want to do about that. It is internet that it uses, and the advantage of using original software is that if you have your licensed software, you can actually let them know that it's not convenient for you as their customer to always be online, so they should make an offline mode as well. So, and if there is a lot of requests, they will do it. Now you can update it, like I click update. Now it wants me to update. Now what Chaos Cosmos is all about is component. It comes with a lot of component. You can see furniture, trees, cars, a lot. So you will see different category. We have category of furniture, we have category of accessories. For interior, we have vegetation, we have lighting, we have vehicles, we have people. So you can add 3D people to your work. Then we have vehicles, we have architecture, so you can put buildings all around. When you design like this, you want to put building around so that it will look like a developed environment. So you have architecture, you have HDRI, which we are going to come to. Then for the crack version, I'm not sure if you have access to it or not, but try it if you are using crack version. I don't recommend crack version, but I understand the economy, so I can't blame you for that. But yet, V-Ray is not that expensive if you check it. But if you are a student, you have student license. Student license is there, maybe 50,000 per year and all that. So, and you can rent it per month as well. Maybe it's even less. So you can use it as material as well. So let's go to the vehicles first. It has a lot of cars. The cars, it has about 117 vehicles. Cars, keke, bikes, police car, different stuff. Bus, vans, trucks, SUVs, different ones. And you can see the way they are really, really cool and nice. So I'm just going to go to the top view randomly. I'll choose some nice cars, so I'm going to just click this. Now if you notice there's a check mark here, it means that I've downloaded it. So if I go back to home, because I plan to explain everything as much as possible, we don't have much time, but I'll still explain. Now I've not downloaded this, so you cannot see a check mark there. So if I hover on it, you'll see this blue download. I'll just click download. Depending on your internet strength, that's what will determine your download speed and all that. So while that one is going, let me go back to vehicles. So whatever you have downloaded is in your what's it called, on your computer, so you can always go back to use it. And now because I chose to download, the internet is slow because I'm live streaming, I'm also recording, and all those things have actually made it to be slow. So I shouldn't have done that, but yet you understand. So while that one is doing, let me just quickly explain lighting for you. You want to do day rendering like this, you have options. The first option you have is to use V-Ray Sun. Now, if you want to use V-Ray Sun, you come to the V-Ray toolbar and you see V-Ray Sun, you select it and you click drag and drop. To ask you, would you like to automatically add V-Ray Sky environment map? You click yes. What does that mean? What it means is that you can't have a sun without a sky. Look up wherever you are. If you go outside, you will see that there is a sky above you before you have a sun. So that is actually it. So I'll click yes. Now it's not telling me that there's already a map in the environment slot. I don't want to go into too much details of this, but the major thing is to click yes as well. And with this, you can begin to render. I'll just click on the last VFB. You can see we have rendering, we have chaos cloud, then we have last VFB. If you open it, it will look like this. Now, before, if you have not been using V-Ray 5, then the interface of your VFB might not look like this, but current version looks like this. It looks a little bit like a Photoshop interface. And on it, you will see that there's a new version of V-Ray that is available. That means this particular one that we are using is even a little bit old, because they have released another one about a month ago. But I'm working on many projects now, so I just chose not to download it because there might be issues. So all you need to do is you just click on this icon, which is start interactive rendering. It's interactive rendering that we are starting now, and you will see it will load our project and it will start interactive rendering. So let's see the way it looks. Now it depends on how heavy the scene is and how powerful your computer is. All this determines how fast your rendering will be. So you see what we have. Everything is just like this. It's not cool. What we can do now, as I come to this view, you can see it is showing me the top view, and if I come to this view, it is showing me the camera view. I want it to only always show the camera view. I don't want to click on the top view and it will render the top view for me. So what I will do for that is I'll click on the render setup. So on the render setup, I make sure that I'm on this view. You can see view to render, column 1 V-Ray camera 001. I'll just click on the lock icon on it. So that is it. So if I come here now, you can see it is not rendering that view again. So I will select the sun. What happened is, in the real life, when the sun is low, we say the sun is set, and when the sun is getting higher, we say it's rising. So now the sun is set, so it's like evening. When I begin to rise it up, you see that we have the illumination. So the higher we go, the much more brighter the image becomes. It is as simple as that. You don't have to stress yourself to know that. It is just the way it works in real life. Now, because I don't want to be seeing colors, so I can override all this material in a single click. How? Just click here. You can see beside the interactive render is where we have this, and you choose lighting. Because you are doing lighting, you can override all the materials. So now you can see our material is white. The next thing to do for me is actually to set the light the way I want it. If you notice in our reference, this is the way the light comes. You can see the angle. So how do you determine the angle your light will go and all that? Really, there is no rule to it. I used to tell people that anybody that gives you too much rule is just giving you problem. You get? The major rule is that you should show three-dimensionality of your image. For example, now this is nice, but this place is too flat. It does not show shadow. It does not look like there's three-dimensional. It's three-dimensional, except if not that we have this angle here. But look, as I'm moving my camera, sorry, as I'm moving my sun, you can see what is happening. Now this place is in shadow. We can see shadow here, we can see light here. So that is the major thing for you to know. Okay, I want shade to be here, I want shadow to be here. This is shade, this is shadow, and this is highlight. Do you understand? So everything comes together. So I continue to move it, and you can see now I'm seeing a shadow being casted on this wall now, and it is looking closer to this. So I can continue to move, but in any way it's still not looking like this, because the shadow is just straight down like this, unlike this one that is going. And what is causing that is maybe I need to increase the height of my camera, of my sun rather. And you can see now that is almost matching this. Now the aim of this particular tutorial is not to match this, because doing that will be a lot, a waste of a lot of time, which I'm not ready for. It's not to match this, it's only to show you the thoughts behind the images. Sorry. So when you are rendering, you are the one that is in control, and you can do what you want to do. Just make sure that what you are doing is right. So now I think I'm okay with this, and everything is cool. I can now start to add components here and there, and everything, how will look good. But before I add any component, one of the things that I want to show you now is how to control the exposure. Now there are a lot of ways you can control exposure, but I will not bore you with that. I will not try to just give you a lot of information that will not be useful for you immediately. So if I go to view, you will see something like color clamping, and it is false. If I uncheck it, you will see that all this area that our illumination is eating, all of them, all of those areas, they have colors. They have colors. That means those are the overexposed area. They are too white. What overexposure mean? I don't know what I did that is giving me this, but let's just leave it like that. I know what is happening, but let's just leave it. So it's not part of the screen. I mistakenly picked something and it is drawing for me. So these are the overexposed area, and this overexposed area means that it is too white to be white. It is whiter than white, like angelic white. This is what we have here. We don't need that kind of white. So what you need to do is, when you have things like this in this new V-Ray frame buffer, you click on the plus sign here. You can see, like in Photoshop, you will choose exposure. You can see exposure. We have exposure now. So when you click on that exposure, now don't make mistake. Many people make the mistake of clicking on the display correction and they now drag the exposure here, which is cool, it works, but it doesn't work. Why? When you want to save, you will see that your exposure that you set will not work. So all these areas are highlight and they are burn. So you will come to highlight burn, you will reduce it. I can see as I reduce it, immediately we are seeing a very nice image. No overexposure. You don't have to drag it down. Most times I drag it down, but it doesn't matter. You don't even have to drag it down. Just drag it a little bit till overexposure is gone, and it's gone over here. So we have a nice image and everything is looking cool and nice. And that is for V-Ray Sun. If I want to go maybe goldener kind of, I can reduce the V-Ray Sun height. I can see it's giving me another kind of mood entirely. So, and if I delete the V-Ray Sun, it is only the V-Ray Sky that I have now, and it's giving me another mood entirely. So now, which one is right? There is none that is right or wrong. It depends on what you want to do. Sometimes I want to do this alone, and I'm okay. It is the mood that I want. Sometimes I want to do this alone. It's okay as well. I can change the position of the sun, the direction, and all those things. but the mood is still the same, it's still what I want, then I can go with this. It's still what I want. So you want to achieve a sunlight, bright afternoon, you go for something like this. You want to go for mood like evening or early morning that the sun is more of orange in color, you reduce the height, then you want the sky alone, you have it, and you are okay and you are cool. So that is all about variation. But whenever I have object that have glass that will reflect and all those things, also even beyond that, if you look outside you see cloud as well. So cloud and all those things does not come with very sky, sorry, with variation. So what I do is I use something called HDRI. So HDRI, there are many places you can get HDRI on internet, but like I said, when you are using the current V-Ray, you don't have to struggle to get some things. So I'm going to delete the sun, and if you come here, let me just quickly pick some cars before we go to HDRIs. So I'm just going to click and drag, hold on to it and drag it to the viewport, then it will import it. Oops, where is it? It's not importing. Why? Internet. So I will import it again. So it's not importing. Why? Again, internet. But I guess the problem so you can see we have this now. This is a car. If I press F3, you can see F3 means shaded. You are going from shading to wireframe, so you can just press F3. If I choose edge faces, it will just show you all that, which I don't want. You can see a nice car, actually a really nice car. So I can pick another one. You can see a nice truck. So I don't want police van. I can choose another SUV. So you can put them where you want them to be. In this case, I'm just going to press E or choose rotate from here to rotate. Now when I want to rotate or do anything like rotate yet, I always enable this angle snap toggle. It will make me to be able to rotate at 5 degrees. You can see 185, 195 at 5 degrees. So I'll just rotate like that. So rotate again. So now I can move by clicking on the move tool and put the element where I want it to be. So in this case, I put it here. I put this one too here. So they are big, and that's why I use small cars for the main image. You can see now we have this. They can even go forward a little bit. So I press Ctrl to select both of them and I move them forward. That's just that. I don't want to waste time on that. You already see how I imported the elements from the Chaos Cosmos browser. So it's that simple and straightforward. There is no struggle at all. So what I want to do now is on the Chaos Cosmos browser as well, I'll choose vegetation and I'll choose shrubs and bushes. It will load. What I've done is whenever the internet is good, you can see we still have some that I've not downloaded. But whenever the internet is good, I always make sure that I downloaded all these, so that it will just be that I will need internet to import. The strength of the internet to import is not as that is needed to import is not as strong as the internet that is needed to download. So now I bring this edge in. You can see the edge and it looks like this. I can rotate it at 90 degrees. then move it to wherever I want it to be. In this case, let's say I want it to be here, just to block out some of these. So now it is a proxy. One of the things I like about it is that all of their objects, all of these, they are proxy objects. What are proxy objects? They are meshes. It means that if it will take 1 megabyte on your memory, your computer memory, to render one, to load one of these, not to render, to load one of these, then if you multiply it by instance into 1 million, it will take exact same amount of memory to load everything. So now if I press shift on my keyboard because I want to copy this, and I click move and I drag it like this and I release it, you will see that we have copy, clone option. It's either to copy or instance or reference. So if you use instance and you copy 1 million of these objects, it will only use the memory that is required to load one to load all the 1 million. Do you understand? But if you use copy, it will not work that way. It will multiply everything, then your system will begin to slow down and all that. So I'll just use instance. So I can just leave it that way because this place is behind the camera, it's not going to show. Again, it's telling us that we have 10 minutes left. So don't forget, you will just join again through that same link, no other link. That same link is okay for you. So I'm just going to continue now. This is where your creativity comes in because you are the one that will compose your image the way you want it to be and all that. Nobody will do that for you. You get? So, but for now, I'm just going to copy. I'm not going to, go through everything that I did, on this our reference image. You can see that I have some other shrubs and all those things, but the major thing is for you to know how to import the shrubs and how to distribute them, which I'm already showing you. So that is, the most important thing, so that we will not waste much time. So now this is bigger than where it's supposed to be, where it should be. So I can press R on my keyboard to actually scale it and put it where it's supposed to be. It's that simple. So this is okay. Oops, I made a mistake. Okay, I moved the camera mistakenly. So let it be known that even me that I'm training you, I made a mistake in moving the camera. So if you make that same mistake, don't feel like you don't know what you are doing. It's one of those things that happens when you work, and there's no need to kill yourself over it. So now I have that, and it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So how did I get the grass? And this is where I'm going to be telling you something that is about to come up in V-Ray. It's not there yet, but it's going to come up. Is that now in V-Ray you will not need forest pack again. I use forest pack to create this grass, which I'm going to show you now. But I so much believe that the next release of V-Ray, you will not need forest pack again to create grass. I so much believe that because there is something called chaos scatter. See, chaos scatter is already in Corona Renderer now, and the people that make Corona Renderer are the same people that make V-Ray. So I'm quite sure that it is coming to V-Ray as well. So now let's just create that grass. You see, when I'm modeling, what I do is to apply material. I know where my grass will be and all that, so I can just select all those surfaces once and create grass on them in 3ds Max. So now I select this, I can right click and choose select similar. So it will select everything. So I just choose isolate. So everything that should have grass on them, this is where they are. But the challenge is I can't put grass on all of them at once. Why? Because their levels are different, and forest pack does not work on different levels at a time. To work on this level and this level, that's why I separated all of them into these three different categories. So how do you use Forest Pack? It's quite simple. You're going to create tab on the um, command panel. Or what's this? What's this? How did it come about? Okay, it has gone. So on the command panel, you just choose geometry, and under the geometry, you choose I2 software. Now it means that you have installed Forest Pack. Forest Pack is a plugin, so you can go on Google and search for Forest Pack. So you're going to find it there. You can see Forest Pack from I2 Soft. So if you come here, you'll see craft file. If you search for craft file academy, so on YouTube, you are going to see the videos there. You can see 10 videos, 555 subscribers. So how to create a realistic swimming pool, an easy introduction to Corona render. This is materials, this is how to create presets and all that. So you can subscribe, because many materials will be coming, and many tutorials will be coming out, and you can use. So I just click on Forest Pro, and now it gives me this. I want to apply grass to this surface. What I will do is I will go to forest creation, and I will come to library. I will select from library. Now this is the library. You have gravel, you have lawns, you have layered lawns. So I'm saying, what do you make different levels? Yes, what I made different levels is the height. This one is like at 300 mm, this one is like at 150 mm from natural ground level, and this one is like at 0 mm. That's the height levels that I mean. So yes, difference in height. Yeah, you're right. So now I like to use layer lawns. You have leaves that you can scatter, you have meadows, you have many things that are preset. In fact, excuse me, you can use Forest Pack to create rugs. In your interior, you have stones, you have vertical plants as well. You have many things, but I'm going to use layered lawns. And for this, I'm just going to use this that does not have too much um yes, if you have a slope surface, you can use Forest Pack, but it must be Forest Pro, not Forest Lite. Forest Lite is the free version, Forest Pro is the paid version. Forest Lite only work on flat surface, whereas Forest Pro works on different terrain. So I will just choose that, and all I need to do is to just pick the surface I want to use. Now, as I select it, something is happening. It's telling me that I want to use a large area. To use a large area, oops! Now, this is a fantastic thing that is happening to us. An error has occurred, and the application will now close. Do you want to attempt to save a copy of the current scene? I'll just click OK, because I've not saved since I've been working. I'll just click OK. 3ds Max just crashed. That's just it. It just crashed, and there's nothing you want to do about that. It crashed, it's crashed. And why did it crash? If you notice, it brings a notification. I didn't see that notification on time, and I was trying to struggle with it, so that was when it crashed. 3ds Max, we teach you one thing in life. Generally, it is called patience. If you are not patient, you cannot use 3ds Max. So we have 2 minutes to go, and the recording is almost 50 minutes. We have about 45 minutes to go as well. So what I will do now is to stop the recording. After these guys have joined now, I will stop the recording, and I will try it as much as possible before I start the next session, to make sure that anybody can enter without me having to admit them. I will try and set it on the Zoom app now. so that we will just have a flawless session that is remaining. But let me just quickly open that file. It is called untitled, so it saved it as untitled because I've not saved it before. So let's see if we are able to recover it. Okay, saying one or more objects is currently isolated. So thank God, it actually saved our forest park with it. Sometimes it will save, sometimes it will not, but I'm glad that it saved. So I'm just going to wait for the people that have joined. I believe everybody have joined now. We have less than 1 minute to go. So um, in the next session, we are going to quickly put all the forest park, set the HDRI, put some elements that I think are necessary, then do material and render. And we'll do our post production and we'll call it a day. Thank you very much. If you stop now.